Good days and greeting to Dr. Lau. Today, I, Adriana Dira, will be presenting on the case study of Black Saturday Bushfire. The members of my group and their parts in presenting is me, Adriana, will be presenting on the introduction and causes. Nurin Amalin will be presenting the impact. For solution will be presented by Nur Khalida and Munira. And the last part, which is lesson learned, will be presented by Izati. So a little bit on background of Black Saturday Bushfire. Black Saturday bushfire is occurred in Victoria, Australia. The fire began to ignite on 7 February 2009 and completely extinguished on 14 March of 2009. Victoria is a region that experienced arid summer climate with an unusual heat wave with temperature at 48 degrees Celsius and almost no rain distribution at all. In addition, winds were recorded at more than 100 kilometers per hour. The government imposed a total fire ban across the state. This is the worst natural disaster in Australia history during the time. Victorian Township, including Marysville, Kingslake West, Narbetong, Flowerdale, and Strattonworth were devastated. So, for the causes were divided into three parts, which is the condition of Victoria, how the fire started, and the factors of rapid spreading of fire. The condition of Victoria, like in the introduction part, Victoria faced the least rain and the highest temperature in history during the time, with months and months of hot air and dry conditions. In southern East Australia, it led to a heat wave in January 2009. So for the second part, the fire started in Kilmore East, which proceeded to the Horsham. The fire started about 11:47 a.m. in Kilmore East, on the top of a rocky hill between two gullies near a Saunders Road. At Horsham, the fires ignited at about 12:20 p.m. It was a grass fire, and in just the first hour, it spread rapidly, covering just over 10 kilometers of grass. And last but not least, the factors of rapid spreading of fire. The spread of fire due to the high velocity of hot wind blowing, making the fire more avid and spread more easily on the dry grass. So that is all for the introduction part and causes. Uh, Now I will be passing to Nurin to present on the impacts of Black Saturday bushfire. Thank you.
My name is Nurin Amalia Mianti Muhammad. For my part, I'm going to explain the impacts of Black Saturday bushfire on environment, human, and economy. The impacts on environment will be divided into four categories consist of animals, plants, land, and air pollution. According to Australian Institute for Disaster Resilience, 143 million of mammals, including koalas and kangaroos, 2.46 billion reptiles, 180 million birds, and 51 million frogs were killed and displaced. Furthermore, smaller species of reptiles were affected, especially skinks that can live in densities of more than 1,500 individuals per hectare. Other than that, there were 272 plant species were affected, and among these species, 22 plant species were critically endangered, apart from 80% habitat of 47 plant species were damaged. Moreover, 450,000 hectares of land were burnt. As we all know, PM10 is one of the air pollutants that negatively impact our environment. Based on the statistics in 2009, we can see that PM10 has been suspended in the atmosphere for almost 80 days. It also exceeds the national air quality standards, which are 50 microgram per cubic meter within 24 hours. Next is the impacts on human. Based on the 2009 Victorian Bushfires Royal Commission, 22% of people from highly affected communities were suffered with PTSD, or also known as post-traumatic stress disorder. However, only 5.6% of people were suffered with mental health issues, as they had been in regions that were less affected by the fires. Also, individuals with asthma, respiratory diseases, and cardiovascular diseases have greater risk of being affected by bushfire smoke. And lastly is the impacts on economy. According to Victorian Office of the Emergency Services Commissioner, or ESC, the net cost was estimated to be $942 million by deducting the total benefits $1.998 billion from the total losses $2.939 billion. Other than that, 85% of replacement costs for residential, commercial, agricultural and park buildings, apart from 50% for many park structures, including tables, seats and park signage, reflect the actual value of the lost asset. That's all for the impacts of Mid Saturday bushfire on environment, human and economy.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Khalida and I will present about the solutions in our case study. Okay, so there are solutions that can be carried out by individuals and the community as well as actions taken by the authorities. So, firstly, as an action to prevent bushfire, individuals or members of the community can identify the hazard trees in high risk place and notifying the responsible entities so the situation can be redressed. During the incident of bushfire, we can apply fire plan to escape from fire. And after the bushfire incident, we should build our home in safe areas instead of in hazardous areas with high temperature and dry areas. And then for the authorities part, as mitigation measures, Department of Sustainability and Environment can impose a total fire ban. Department of Education and Training should incorporate Australian fire history into syllabus in order to educate the future generation. And next, National Bushfire Awareness Campaign should be developed by the Country Fire Authority and school to raise awareness regarding the bushfire and its dangers. The government should implement a retreat and resettlement strategy for existing developments in area with high risk of bushfire. Professional architects should be required to have permit to undergo construction and provide fire prevention plans for areas with high bushfire risk as precaution. And then Victoria Police must ensure the community is properly and adequately warned about bushfire. Bureau of Meteorology must take action by identifying hazardous places as well as forecasting and announcing to the public about the dangers of the coming weather. Okay, so that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter, Munira.
Thank you, Khalida. Hi, I am Munira. We'll continue the presentation on solution taken by authorities during the bushfire incident. First solution is rescue process from authority teams such as police, firefighters, and hospital personnel. Response must respond immediately to assist the victims at the fire scene so that all the victims are safe. However, Victorian Health Emergency Coordination Centre must notify Melbourne hospitals immediately to prepare for burn victims to be treated. Besides, they also need to notify all the nearest hospitals to prepare for receiving the injured people at the bushfire incident so that treatment provided are adequate and quick. Country Fire Authority, the most important authority at this scene, at this disaster, immediately did their work by extinguishing the bushfire and rescuing the victims who were there. Due to the bushfire, there are many people are living homeless, so the government of Australia must take action by providing them shelter while Victoria Police also should take action in this disaster by ensuring the situation at the scene is under control and ensuring all the victims are safe. Next, we will see the action taken by the authorities after the bushfire disaster. Government should take action in Emergency Management Act 1986 and Emergency Management Manual Victoria by removing the title of Coordinator-in-Chief of Emergency Management from the Minister for Police and Emergency Service by replacing it with designated the Chief Commissioner of Police as a Coordinator-in-Chief of Emergency Management, who would have primary responsibility for keeping the minister informed during an emergency. Besides, they should explain and clarify the function and powers of the minister so that the task entrusted can be carried out properly and smoothly. Country Fire Authority also should modify and establish Act regarding Fire prevention to ensure the safety of people. Victoria Safe Energy in regulations under the Victorian Electrical Safety Act 1998 must take the initiative by disabling the reclose function on the automatic circuit recloses on all sware lines for the 6 weeks of greatest risk in each fire season. Next is Victoria Police, the National Fire Authority and the Meteorological Bureau need to improve community information warning message so that communities get early warning to plan for their safety and property. Lastly, Professional Australia, architect, engineering and structural buildings must redesign buildings code by having household bushfire safe assessment tool software to ensure the early warning message in each house. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Izati.
Thank you to Khalida and Munira that has come up with the solutions. Next, I will begin presenting the lesson learned in Black Saturday bushfires. Firstly, we learned that individuals are exposed to harmful risks on their actions in bushfire-prone areas. There should be a more holistic understanding of the need to define when it is not safe to stay. It is because many of the 173 people who died are found had been trying to defend their home. Besides, arson offender has been sentenced to 17 years and 9 months in jail by deliberately lighting a bushfire on Black Saturday that killed 10 people. The main purpose for the sentence are to develop a nationally consistent approach to arson offence and to reduce deliberate fire setting. Secondly, Australia called a company to pay bushfire victims. A few years after the incident, the Australian court approved a record payout of almost 500 million Australian dollars to the parties involved that caused the bushfire. Well, it has been reported by the 2009 Deterrent Bushfires Oil Commissions that fire began to ignite due to the electricity line filled between two poles and the lack of prevention measures by the parties involved. The parties involved are SP Ausnet, which is the Australian Power Transmission Company, Utility Service Corporation, and Victoria State Government's Department of Sustainability and Environment. Even though this period could not bring victims' life, but it could ease the financial burden of the victims to rebuild their life. Finally, climate change has contributed to tremendous bushfire. Climate change is causing more frequent and intense weather conditions, which increase the chance of lightning strikes that can spark fires. This situation can result in increasing the risk of bushfires in Victoria and lengthening the fire season. We also have seen vast documented effects of bushfires to humans, the environment, and economy. Thus, by 2030, the firefighters in Victoria are estimated to be more vigilant to the increasing population, asset value, and fire danger weather. Indeed, the Government of Australia should be more progressive to cut emission of greenhouse gases rapidly and participate in global efforts. Here is the list of references, and that brings us to the end of the presentation. I'd like to thank you for watching our video, and we hope that this video has brought benefit. Feel free to ask questions, and thank you.